A cool thing about Diamondback is, in addition to its beautiful aesthetics, its fuselage locks together, which, as I've talked about on my channel before, really helps the aerodynamics, and it's helping this to fly very well. Jason says he's gotten this to fly over 100 feet. So let's see it in action. Something that's cool about Diamondback is that if you trim it properly, you can maneuver it by angling it and launching it with a banked attitude. So if you angle it to the left and launch it, it'll curve to the left. If you angle it to the right and launch it, it'll curve to the right. And if you angle it down and throw it at the ground, it should swoop up just in time and do what's called a skim. So let's watch as I perform some of these maneuvers. Now all you'll need in order to fold Diamondback is a square sheet of paper between 7 and 10 inches on a side, and this is 8.5 by 11 paper. I started with this just because I figured a lot of you may not have square paper, so really quickly I'm going to show you how to make a square out of a rectangle. If you begin just by folding this edge to this edge, right through that top left corner, it should look like this. Now we can flip the paper over really quickly, and we want to fold this whole section down. You can see where this edge starts to pull up, and we want to find that point where we can lay it down just before it starts to pull up. And then on this left edge, we line this portion up with that left edge right there, so that we're making a perfectly horizontal crease, like so. And then once we unfold it, you can see that this top section is a square. So all you have to do is bend this back and forth a bunch of times, tear it off, or cut it off with some scissors, and you're good to go. With that said, this is 24-pound paper, and you're going to want to use thinner paper than this, so I'm going to grab a different sheet. This is about 15-pound kami paper. You can use anything between 15 and 20 pounds for folding this plane. 20 pounds is a pretty common weight for printer paper, so that may be just what you have. But if you use something heavier than that, then it's going to be a little bit thick in some areas and be a little bit challenging to complete the model. So with that said, if you're starting with a sheet of paper like I am that has two different colors on it, you want to start with the white side up and the colored side down, so that the colored side is the side that is outward when you finish the model. And with that said, we're going to start by folding one point to another point to create a crease that goes straight through our other two corners. And having done that, I'm going to fold this corner to this corner here. And now I will open that up and flip the paper over. And next I want to fold this corner into the center, and I'm going to leave just a tiny gap there so this doesn't quite touch that center point. And I do mean a very small gap. And I'll do the same thing on the other side, trying to match that gap exactly. And having done that, I'm going to now fold in along this edge here. So I want this top edge to land on the center crease. Just like so. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. and your model should look like this. Our next step is to fold this top point to this point right here. And instead of creasing all the way across, we just want to do what's called a pinch crease and just push down right there in that center point. And your model should look like this. And the reason we did that is that's just a reference point for our next fold. So now we are going to take this point here to the point we just made. And this time we'll go ahead and crease all the way across. And we can open that up. And next we want to take this edge here and fold it into center. And we can do the same thing on the other side. And the next step is to start forming our wings. And you can see we have a reference point here where this line that we made intersects the central crease of the plane. That's one reference point. The other reference point is this corner of the plane here. And what we want to do is we want to create a crease that goes from this point to that point there by opening up like so. And we'll do that same thing on the other side as well. It's important to get these two wings symmetrical, so be sure you're folding right from the same point as you did the first time. And the next step is to open up these inner layers on that same line. So we want to fold it over this edge here. And it should look like this. And we'll do the other side as well. Okay, and now we will fold each of these small flaps in half. So this long edge to this edge here. And now your plane should look like this. The next step is to do what is called a jet fold. And we're going to begin with our plane in this orientation. And we want a slight V because we're going to want the majority of this crease to remain a valid crease. But we're going to actually reverse this front section by kind of holding it like so, holding one finger on this crease, and taking our thumb and forefinger with the front of the plane and bending it down like this. And that's all in preparation of the jet fold. And what we want to do is we want it to break at the certain point right here where all of these layers meet and we're down to just these two thinner layers. We want that to be the point at which our nose dives down. So once I start to do it, I'm going to pull down until this crease starts to establish all the way to that point, right like that. And then I'm going to start pulling my layers together like so. And I want my new crease that I'm forming here, this edge, to slope down and meet this edge here at the back point on the plane. And once I achieve that, I can flatten the whole thing. So your plane should look like this at this point. In the next step, I'm going to actually open it back up slightly because I want to grab just one of these two layers. And I'm going to start forming the fin of the plane. By now, I'm reversing that crease again. You can see this section's a valley fold. Now I'm turning the back portion into a mountain fold because I want to pull this up to create the fin of the plane. Now I want this back edge to be a right angle so that it's right along, it's going at the same angle as this bottom portion. And to do that, I also want it to be pulled up as high as it can be while doing that. So you can see they're not quite the same angle right now, so I want to pull a little bit more forward. So as I pull, you can see that crease kind of moving forward. That's how I'm controlling this. Pull forward a little bit more. And I don't think it has to be 100% accurate here, having that angle, but trying to follow the letter of the law. And something like that is pretty dang close. Our next step is to fold this edge here in like so until it hits this edge. Sorry, I'm fixing a problem on the inside of my plane. Until it hits this hidden edge in here. You can see that edge that's running diagonally backwards. I want to fold down to that edge. Okay, and having done that, I'm going to flip the plane over. The next step is I want to take this rear triangle and I want to fold it over this edge right here. And now, having done that, I'm going to unfold that and unfold our previous fold as well. And now I'm going to open up the back of the model slightly. And I want to take this crease we just made and use it to flip that triangle into the inside of the plane. And next, you can see this is what my fin looks like now. And you can see we have this crease here. I want to basically take this top edge and push it in so that this crease is going to be the new top edge. So we're reversing this mountain crease on the outside and pushing it in. And we want now to have two fins instead of one. Okay, and now our next step is just to fold this wing up along this edge here. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And our next step is to fold this rear edge here to land on this edge here. So it should look like this. And next we're actually going to take this edge here and fold it so it lands on this edge here. And it should look like this. Now, once again, we're folding this edge here, not to land on this edge here. We're actually going inside the model now. So we're going to open up all the layers, and this is going to fold all the way up into the top of the fuselage of our plane. And this is what locks our fuselage so it doesn't come apart. So now you can really see we basically have the plane finished, but there are just a few more steps before we get there. The fuselage now, the keel of the plane rather, has one more fold to be done. We folded it in this way. Now we're going to turn it over and basically perform a very similar fold on this side, where we're taking this edge here. So let's see if you can see what that is. This edge here, and folding it all the way up inside the plane, just like we did on the other side. So this is going in the opposite direction as the previous fold. And this is a bit thick here, but I'm sure you guys can make it work. And now just do what you can to make this as symmetrical as possible between the two sides and as tight as possible along that crease. So now, holding it sideways, you can see that the keel of the plane should be pretty small at this point, and that's what you'll hold on to, that nice small grip right there. And you can see from the front maybe the dome and my wings a little bit. I'm going to take just a second and flatten those out slightly, just by brushing outward. And now all that I have left to do is I need to set the correct wing angle. So I want the main wings of the plane to be parallel to the ground. So if here's the ground and here's the plane flying, I want these two main wings to basically be a straight line set just like this. And these tail wings, I want to have a 60-degree angle between the main wings and the tail wings. So this is my best estimation of that, like so. And there you go. This is a finished Diamondback, and you can see just how beautiful that plane is. And again, flies very well. Flies very well. So you may need to add just a little bit of up elevator on this. And in fact, I'll be linking a video here. You can click the card in the top right corner. I have an entire video dedicated to how to throw and adjust your paper airplanes. So if you're finding that this plane is spiraling or not gliding as well as you'd like, that video will be a great resource to you. Now again, I would encourage you to check out Jason Merrill's book and his page here, or his channel here on YouTube, because he makes incredible origami content, and I'm very thankful to him for letting me fold this plane on my channel. Now you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on that channel icon in the top right corner, and you can check out some more of my videos here. And if you really like what I do, head over to foldableflight.com or patreon.com/foldableflight. And as always, thank you for watching.